I'm a little too zoomed in, but
a silly one.
Booger check. Food and mustache check. Oh, we're all good. Hey guys, I'm worried that I got turned around and I'm lost. Not only that, I don't think I'm alone. Guys, I think I got turned around and I'm lost. And what's worse, I don't think I'm alone. I think there's something out here. I saw some tracks on the way in. Coyotes or I don't know what. Whoa!
What are you doing out here, man?
Are you lost too?
Yeah, I'm totally turned around. I don't know how to get out of here.
All right. Well, we better take care of this situation.
Yeah, or else we're gonna die.
Yeah. Totally.
Totally.
To death.
To death.
Probably.
There's not even anything to drink out here.
No.
There's no food.
No. Well, let's take care of that.
Let's survive.
We're gonna survive this. All right, here's the scenario. We are actually out hunting in the woods, and basically I've got all my gear as if I was hunting in the woods, except that I pulled some of it in on a sled because I got camera stuff too, but mostly just my hunting bag. I'll show you what's in there. But we're also going to show a little bit of winter shelter building, as if we did get lost, what we would do to keep ourselves warm and sheltered through the night. So, I mean, one of the things is you might be dressed to go out for the day, but if you're stuck out there, getting through the night is a whole other story, because you're often not really dressed for that, especially at this time of year when the temperature can swing by 15 degrees or more between the day and the night, especially if you include the wind chill. So where we are right now is a spot that we kind of picked out where we would build a shelter. It itself is sheltered from the wind. There's a lot of trees here. There's also a lot of deadwood, balsam and spruce. So we have lots of firewood, lots of building material. I have a little bit of cordage in my pack. We're going to whip up a couple of lean-tos, get a fire started, and get ourselves comfy. So first things first. One of the issues if you are out and you get a big fire going to keep you warm is that you might get a lot of water coming down from melted snow. So we're gonna kick these trees and try and shake down any of the major snow that's up there, just to eliminate that problem right off the start. Not a lot of snow up there. Yeah. Even though I knew it was coming, I still got snow on my face. Okay, first we want to clear out a spot here, and there's a couple things that I want to keep in mind as I'm working on my shelter. Number one, I want to stay as dry as I can. So that means keeping my gloves dry because I've only got one pair, and that means keeping my body dry because I don't have a whole bunch of extra clothes here. So as I warm up, I'm going to strip off layers, and I'm going to work in a way that keeps me from getting wet. We're actually sitting at about 0 degrees Celsius, 32 Fahrenheit, and in this temperature range around zero, you're actually at a greater risk of hypothermia, or statistically more people die at this temperature than at colder temperatures. And it's, I think, because of not being able to keep dry. I'm actually going to keep my gloves off for this because I don't want them to get wet. Once they're wet, it'll take a long time to get them dry. So we're just setting up some equipment here and clearing out a spot. And there is a lot of dead wood around. Lots of dead trees under the ground. here's a little note about electronics. So if you don't have a flashlight with you and all you've got is your cell phone, you might want to consider turning it off, moving it to an inside pocket, keeping it warm, because you probably want that flashlight later, or you might need that battery power the next day, you know, or maybe you have a signal you're just going to call for help. But assuming you don't, save that battery power. So power it off, put it where it's not going to freeze, and that'll go a long ways to helping you out later on. So another tip, when you're cutting your logs down, drag them to your shelter site, and then when you're trimming all those dead branches in the tops, you have all that pile there that'll help you get started on your fire when you need your fire. Another tip, while I'm thinking about it, is, and this is especially true if you don't have a flashlight, so if you're really stuck, what you want to do if you've got daylight time is cut firewood a little bit further away from your shelter and bring it to your shelter. And then in the night when you're freezing cold and you need more firewood, you can get the firewood that's close by to your shelter, and that'll kind of keep you from getting lost or having to move far away from your fire and cooling down. So that's another winter survival tip. Okay, so this long beam we're going to tie between these two trees, and one end of it is going to be a lean-to shelter. Then we're going to put a beam across these two trees, which is a shorter span, but there's going to be a lean-to shelter there, and we'll have a communal fire in the middle, which should radiate heat. If we had lots of time, we'd also put a reflector wall at the back here to send even more heat in, but that's really about how much energy you have and how much time you have and how many materials you have. Paracord! So we're going to be using paracord to tie up our shelter. Everybody should have paracord in their packs. This is not real paracord. This is like the cheap version, so it's not rated for 550 pounds. It's rated for 150 pounds, I think. So it's kind of enough for you to, like, you know, lift a deer up in a tree or whatever. If you have a limited amount and you don't need the full strength of the paracord, don't forget, I know you all know this, but don't forget it, that you can just pull out the smaller strings, which also have quite a bit of strength to them, and you can tie a lot of your smaller sticks and things with that. For our main beams, we're using full strength. All right, let's have a look at what we have to work with, because I haven't done that yet. I've got just a pair of work gloves and this kind of a fleecy hunting vest. I'm keeping those aside and dry. I have a 22 long rifle single shot Cooey in a gun sock with a sling, and that's just staying dry as well. I have some paracord, I have some toilet paper, some water and a bottle, some snaring wire, I have extra camera batteries, I have all my hunting licenses, twist ties, and a pen, permission forms, that's always in my hunting bag, more toilet paper, and wet wipes. I usually bring these hunting with me because I'm always hiking little bush trails, and a lot of the time I'm moving along and trimming the edges of them, and for a day like today it's handy for cutting a lot of those little branches that are too small for the axe or the saw. That'll be handy for that. Make quick work of them. Have a dry bag in here, and in my dry bag I have an epinephrine kit and maybe a couple band-aids in there. I have one of these plasma Zippo lighters. That's pretty cool. I have some little gear repair tapes. I have waterproof matches. I have a wound seal kit in case Chris cuts himself with his axe. No comment. Oh, I have the i3T EOS, a little Olight flashlight. And I have another flashlight. Oh, and a multi-tool. Multi-tool and the Perrin 2, which I recently got from Olight. and it is fully charged. This is a nice headlamp version. Is this a new one? Nice.
Make 4 times that, I think.
Well,
Hole catcher.
it's just to keep my bed
Oh, I see.
raised up off the ground.
For your bed.
So the plan would be to get these sort of flat, to fill in with branches underneath to help hold some of the weight, and then just put like a couple of sleeping logs across the top, and then more branches on top of that. Starting to take shape, eh? What was your critique of mine?
It's too bushcrafty. It's too fancy.
It doesn't look like survival, it just looks like bushcraft.
Yeah. Now I'm just going, mine's gonna be rough. You're gonna have an idea of like paying care.
Yeah.
and just being, and
just getting warm.
Getting her done.
I'm thinking with the amount of weight that we have on the poles, we might want to reinforce our corners so they don't fall down on us, but
She's getting heavy.
maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Mine's getting there. I gotta do another, it's about half the roof is done, but it's not that thick right now. And then I'll probably want to box in the sides a bit, and then I'm going to want to put more branches on my sleeping platform because I don't want to lie right down on the logs. I want to have a nice little balsam mattress. Don't really want any eye pokers here. It's the last thing you want to have happen in the dark is jab yourself in an eyeball, or both of them. All right, let's I'm gonna soften up my mattress. You can still kind of see through my roof, so it's not quite as thick as it ought to be, but any of these steps you take are better than just hanging out in the cold. The shelter warms you twice, once building it and once staying in it. Might just have a little nap while you get that fire going.
I might just have a nap while you get that fire going. You can play that game.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
This is surprisingly comfortable,
Yeah, mine is too.
considering it's just like 5 sticks and a bunch of balsam.
I feel like we should probably get a big fire going to try to dry this out because it feels a little.
Yeah.
It's a little damp.
Yeah, I think we want a big enough fire, but we also don't want to light ourselves on fire, right?
Well, you know, if worst comes to worst, we can cook ourselves and
Yeah.
eat ourselves for dinner.
Yeah. So the trick is, if you're cooking, you want like a cooking size fire. If you're freezing, you need a survival size fire.
Well, we want to start big.
And
We'll start big and get some coals.
yeah,
Yeah.
but in a careful kind of way. The thing is, like, if you're wet and you need to dry out, you might even make 2 fires. You might make like a bonfire where it's not going to light your shelter on fire, and then like get a smaller warming fire by your shelter. Because if you're soaked through, you need like an inferno to dry out.
Yeah.
Thoroughly, right?
If you can manage to do that.
Yeah, well here we definitely could, because there's birch bark and there's all these like dead standing spruces. You can just do like what we've already done over here. You just make a big pile of all your tops and your dry dead branches, and then just stuff a bunch of birch bark in there and let it rip. Yeah, you can't really have too much firewood to dry. Fire pit! So because you can't really have too much firewood, but you also want to be efficient with the amount of daylight you have, we're just gonna stack up like full length dead trees, and then they're there. When we need them, we can cut them smaller, or if we need to, we can just start feeding them into the fire full length, you know, and keep a bigger fire going with less cutting on our part. So Chris is just prepping a fire pit, and we're gonna get a little fire going, and then what's next? We're gonna set some snares.
Yeah.
Go for a hunt.
Yep.
Eat some snow.
Get some food.
Yeah.
You don't actually need super, but let's see, it would be a good strip here. Like that. So just basically one layer.
Okay.
It's tricky, but
It's like peeling an onion.
worse. Sometimes you get a piece that just works. But if it's a thick woody piece, it's yeah, that's it. Right there.
So the last time we tried this was almost in these same conditions.
It's not raining as much, though.
It's not raining as much, but we've got the snow from the trees is melting and falling.
It is.
And
I think we'll be all right.
so that'll be a challenge.
This isn't the best stuff I ever made, but
It doesn't look bad.
it's not stringy.
You want to mix it in with this birch bark? Is that the...
We're still using all that same dust every time we use it.
I wonder if people carried around like extra dust just to get a jump on,
Maybe.
you know?
You
Just
wonder,
like in the bottom of their tinder bundle is just all the leftover dust.
you wonder if they would have invested that time ahead of time, or they would have just been
Yeah, like, oh, it's dry out. Let's make some dry dust.
yeah.
Put it in a pouch.
Or if they would have been like, yeah, it's enough of a problem or enough of an annoyance, I'm not going to do it unless I have to.
Yeah.
With probably two different kinds of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of smoke.
Let's keep it going as long as we can without splashing. Oh, dust. The smoke is back and stop. I can't breathe.
Well, we got a coal.
But just leave it for a sec. Oh my god, my lungs. No way. I'm puffing it now.
Or was it just the bottom of the spindle?
It's going to be hard to get oxygen with that notch being the way it is.
Yeah.
So we have to get it a little bit more. Okay. try again here. All right.
I'm gonna say the notch might be too narrow on this one.
It might be.
Because all of our dust is on the top of the board.
If we get it lower, we'll be okay. It'll light from the low. There's already enough dust in it, so it's spilling out.
Yeah.
We just have to get it to the right temperature. Okay, stop here. We got it. We got it.
Oh yeah, I see the smoke coming out the side.
Yeah, 100%. So, okay, you're off, Jer.
Yep.
Grab the tinder bundle. You guys can see that smoke or not. We had to turn it this way because of the angle. But we don't have to worry too much here. We're gonna give it a tap. If it doesn't fall out, because that notch is so freaking tight,
Yeah.
we'll use the knife here. But we got tons and tons and tons of dust, and all that.
Save some for next time.
Yeah, no, all this dust is gonna, it's gonna eventually catch fire. So I'm just putting that knife in there to get it loosened. We don't want that to fall out. And then what we're gonna do, we're not gonna save any of it.
No.
No, we're not gonna save it, not this time. So we got some time here. We're gonna take all that dust and we're gonna pile it up. And we're gonna just let it smolder there. As long as we don't make a big bad mistake, this thing is gonna turn into a giant coal. So don't give it too much oxygen just yet, but enough to keep it going. We actually have 2 coals here.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta be careful here.
Yeah, there's a split in the bark.
It was one piece. You guys see that? There's 2 coals. That's like a feature of this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Jared's a little nervous. Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Am I playing around too much with it?
No.
This is actually good for it because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build a giant ember. It's all gonna come together. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah,
you'll love that.
Show it now.
Show you guys what's going on there. You see that? When I drop it, we're gonna have to start again. It's getting hot too. I can feel the heat.
Oh yeah, on the underside.
Are you good to blow it together? I don't trust you.
No.
Not that I don't trust you. It's that I don't want to do this again.
Well, we got 2 coals. Why don't you start a separate tinder bundle?
Here, why don't you? Here you go. There's your prize.
All right.
Keep that handy, because I don't know. This one might have gone out. This one did go out. No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
There's a little bit in there, eh?
Yeah, but we got to be careful with this one. Okay. Yeah, you can try. You can try to catch it fire there. It might go. So Jerry's going to keep that one back. I don't know if this one gone out or not. I might have left it in there a little bit longer, personally, but we'll see what happens. So you only have so much ember in there. Once you blow the ember out, that's it. One more blow. One more blow.
It's almost there.
One more blow. Oh, I missed blue on that one. Cool. There we go. Oh, where's my birch bark? Over here. There's smoky business. We're gonna transfer it and we're gonna chuck it in the fire. Help me, Jer. Jer, over here. Quick, quick, quick. Jer.
What am I doing?
We're gonna lose it.
You want it under?
Yeah, yeah. without splashing it. There we go. Jared's
Still working on this one.
eyes on the prize. Eyes on the prize.
That
Okay.
one almost blew up into a flame. It's
Well,
still
here,
going.
here, you can play around it now. I'm gonna get this fire
Well, we
going.
got one going.
Now we're going.
This is like the smallest tinder bundle ever.
Woo! You're gonna catch on fire there, Jared. Watch out. All right. Now we're gonna get some bigger stuff on there. Look at that smoky business. I might need you in a sec here, Jay. It doesn't go.
Okay. Well, it's in there.
Oh, did I get you? Sorry. I didn't realize that was there.
Right in the eyeball.
Did I get you?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
It's crucial.
Put your knife out of the way.
Super crucial. We don't want to go back to.
We have enough. We have enough firewood all over the place here.
Some smaller ones can always help. I always like to get it going a little bit more before I stop worrying about it. If we don't have a fire, we can't eat. And then we fail another portion of our survival challenge. Or survival.
We have to have food though first.
Well, we got to get food, but this is fire. We got shelter, fire.
Fire.
We're gonna get some water in a bit.
Oh, you just need snow the whole time.
No, it's got to be water. That's just a winter cheat.
Take as much as you want. It's free. Free for the taking. Oh, little eyeball pokers in here.
My shelter's dripping.
Mine's dripping too. It's good we're getting them dried out before before they matter. Well, now we've got fire, shelter, pretty much. Build up our pile of firewood, and next step is to go set some snares. How about do a little bit of hunting? We've got about 2.5 hours, 3 hours till dark. That's, yeah. We got a lot done for the amount of time that we've been here, so far so good. So the other advantage to having a fire going earlier is that all the snow and damp on our shelters is going to help to dry out so that it's not just all dripping on us in the night. So all this kind of snow here, you can see it's already starting to melt. And then hopefully this will be nice and dry. Then what you have to watch out for is when everything's dry, you don't want a big sparky fire letting your shelter on fire. So we'll just be careful about that. Keep a low, steady fire going. Alright, let's go for a little hunt. And we're gonna set some snares and see if we can find something to cook out here. So there's snare wire I need. Let's put that in my pocket. And I need my little multi-tool because it's got the pliers on it, my Victorinox. And bring my gloves with me. What am I going to do with them? I'm going to keep them dry and warm in my hoodie pouch. So get in there. Am I bringing my whole backpack? Maybe I'll bring my whole backpack just for the convenience of carrying my axe with me for setting up some snare poles. And because we might just see snowshoe hares. I'm going to bring my 22 with me as well. And grouse. Grouse is still open. So just a single shot cooey. Kablooey! We're all set. We are in a spot with a lot of snowshoe hares, so let's go find some good trails. We'll set some snares, and we might shoot a hare or a grouse, both of which are open right now. If you are not familiar with snowshoe hares, here's the trick about them. They usually will hold pretty tight, and then if you spook them or they think that you've spotted them, they run, and then they stop. So typically you can keep your eye on them and watch them, and they'll stop. Usually about 30-40 feet away, within good shooting distance of a 22 long rifle. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And if we don't see any today, we'll just make sure we have enough snares out that we'll have some by tomorrow. Well, that's a pretty good trail there, and another good trail right beside it. So I think what I'm going to do is set snares right over here. Maybe two right close to each other. So let's see what I can do here to get organized. Just hang my gun in a tree and come into this hair trail from the side. Now I've already got some branches here to hang a snare off of, so I don't have to worry about cutting a pole. Got my snare wire and multi-tool. Let's see, what's the deal with this? It's made to look like you could just spool wire out of it, but it doesn't really work that smoothly. Oh, I see what you can do. You can... Nope, that doesn't want to work either. Ah, what a pain. Let's see. Okay, well, however your snare wire is set up, you want a length about, I don't know, 18 to 24 inches. Give a little snip. And then gonna make a little twist on the one end to guide the snare. Now my dad always taught me to run the wire across your knee, and it helps to put the right shape of bend in it. And you want a snare about the size of your fist. I think there's a regulation maybe that says you cannot have a snare over 4 inches, and the reason for that is that they don't want you catching other non-target species by accident. So I'm going to attach my snare to this live twig here, and then I'm going to bend it over and get it centered on the trail. Now, a couple tricks here. You can put a little bit of a chin-up bar to encourage the hair to jump over. And maybe also, if I can find a dead twig that the hair's not going to want to stop and chew on, just put a little guide. So this trail comes basically in here. So far so good. And I'm going to put a little obstacle so that they don't want to sidetrack over there. So there's one. I think so. I just set a snare over there. I think I'm going to set one on this. There's two trails side by side here, so set another one here. I just need a snare pole, and here it is, one that is long enough and sturdy enough that a hair will not be able to run off with it. So we'll just wedge it in there, and then we're going to repeat our same process. So I'm going to get out the length of wire I need, which is about 18 to 24 inches. That should be good right there. Get my multi-tool. Get a little snip. Put a little twist in the end. And put it through. I want it to be about the size of my fist. And I want it to hang about a fist's height from the trail. Put enough twists on here that a rabbit's not going to pull that loose. There we go. Now, with a couple of dead twigs, I'm going to set up very simple guides. And then with another dead twig, I'm going to put this chin-up bar. It's basically just like an encouragement for it to keep its nose up. There's a third one. Number 4. I think because of the temperature and snow conditions, it is not ideal right now to be snaring hares. Certainly not bad to be hunting them. And there are a few good paths. So I do only have 4 snares out right now. That might be all I set, unless I come across some more good trails. And I see, now that I've done the loop, the Wooded Beardsman is up ahead of me. How's it going? What's happening?
Snaring rabbits.
Snaring rabbits. Not shooting any?
No. Not even looking.
No. How many snares did you set?
3.
Okay, and I set 4, so we're kind of about even there now. Nice bed of coals waiting here. Oh, I can feel the heat coming off that from here. That's nice. So once you've got your basic needs taken care of, you're really just trying to stay warm. You might not actually sleep, but you can rest, and you know, the work that you've put into your shelter will help you to keep that many degrees warmer, allow you to lie down at rest. You're going to burn fewer calories, and so all those things kind of just make you more comfortable for your overnight stay and improve your chances of coming out in good health. So at this point, what I would do is keep a low warm fire going, get an idea about how close or how far I can have it from my shelter without burning my shelter down or smoking myself out. And I'm just going to keep working at just puttering below the speed that makes me sweaty, trimming firewood and getting a stockpile of firewood close by my bed, so ideally I can just sort of reach and throw firewood onto the fire from where I am, or at least have it close enough nearby that, you know, if I get up and I stretch my legs and do some jumping jacks or something to stay warm, throw some wood on the fire and move back in. You know, if you don't have an axe, what you want to do is knock down as many of these long dead trees as you can, pile them up in such a way that you can just kind of keep pushing logs into the fire. Another trick, if you don't have an axe, is to get a good sturdy piece of stick, and you can use it as a club. You can actually knock a lot of branches off trees with just a club and trim up those logs so they're easier to feed the fire with. So put some finishing touches on your side of the shelter. So you've built up a little bit more of your back wall. You have a much thicker roof than I do, and your bed design, you put a couple of logs to keep from rolling in or out and to contain all of your bedding material.
I wanted to raise it up, but I felt the higher I went, the more it's going to kind of spill out.
Yeah.
I don't know if that works that way, but
yeah,
maybe a little bit.
I've done it like that before, just kind of built a frame and then filled the inside with stuff. Yeah. Because one of the problems you can have is you can be rolling around on your bed and your branches you fall out, and your branches end up everywhere, right? So mine's a little bit different. As I showed you, I've got branches underneath. I've got 2 end logs. I ran, I think, 4 or 5 sturdy sapling kind of things across the top, and then added more on top of that. You can see I've still got a couple holes in the back of mine that need to be filled in, but there it is, pretty much ready to go. Looks like it's going to get dark soon, eh?
Another piece of cord. Well, maybe you'll hang it down, and that we can hang the billy can on it.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yep.
All right. I'll let you wrap it. You do your thing.
All right.
And wrap it.
Wrapping and frapping. Whew.
Pre-dry some of this stuff.
Pre-dry what?
Pre-dry it.
Oh,
On the bottom.
I thought you meant the stuff that you just threw on top. I'm like, well, that's actually, we call that burning around here.
Probably good enough. What do you think about that?
Looks pretty good.
That's pretty good. Put that lid on tight. You want to get smoky water? That looks good.
Got my snare wire and my multi-tool, and I'm going to grab my 22 and the axe. We're going to go and set just a couple more snares before dark. I don't even know what time it is. It's my phone die? No. It's almost 4 o'clock. I think it gets dark at 4:30 is sunset, so we are running out of time. But we want to keep busy, so aside from puttering at more firewood, more shelter cover, and messing around with the fire itself, we also want to set a few more stairs, and also dusk is the best time for hare hunting, so we're going to try our luck with that. So that's so that's where we're at. Got your snare wire?
I do.
Multi-tool?
Yep.
Camera? You just, yeah, trail's over here. Ooh. So I set one more snare. So I have to remember I got 5 out. Now that dirty hand. It's dry, but it's not so clean. Anyway, 5 snares. Chris set up another 2, so he also has 5 snares, but his snares are also going to have some game cameras on them. So if you want to see some of that footage, what happens when the hares come by and see a snare, then you should pop over to his channel and see his take on this adventure. Anyway, it's pretty much the best time of day to see snowshoe hares. This last half hour before sunset. And I've got my eyes peeled for one. I don't know if you've heard it while I've been walking around, but it's warm enough that snow's falling out of the trees. So I'm really glad that when we first set up our campsite, kind of gave those trees a kick, shook down all that snow, right? Otherwise they'd all be falling on us right now in our nice little setup, but instead it is dry. There's a spot there where the snowshoe hares are stripping bark for their food. And there are definitely lots of tracks around. There's also this weird little path. I don't know what that is, but it kind of goes right over there. Maybe there are little voles, redback voles. They're common around here, and they eat a lot of bark. So I guess if I want to see a hare, I should do less yapping and more looking. So I'll hunt my way back. Chris is just finishing up his 5th snare, so hunt our way back to the fort and get that fire stoked back up. Maybe cut a little more firewood, get a few more branches on our shelters, and get settled in. Sweet home. Look at that nice fire. It occurred to me that if you didn't have the means to cut up your firewood for a controlled fire, you're better off to do like just a blazing inferno.
Yeah.
Like even just all the branches you can break and all the dead things you can push over. If you can get that burning, you can get a big bed of coals just from branches.
Yeah.
If you have enough of them, right?
Yeah, and then you'll have your pieces cut up after.
Yeah.
After it burns down, it'll be the right size.
Yeah. Yeah, you can just push stuff into the middle. I remember when my dad used to cut a lot of firewood, he'd always keep a big brush pile burning, and all the tops, he'd burn everything. He'd take the firewood and the log or whatever, and then everything else got burned. He never left branches lying around in the bush. But you'd go back like the next day at lunchtime and there'd still be just heat coming off of those beds of coals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Starting to get dark, so as it darkens up, we just kind of change our strategy to you know, we might not travel as far. We might switch to our headlamps and really just kind of putter around to keep warm. I was saying earlier, I don't think you would like make this and then sleep peacefully all night. It's more about like you're warmer than you would have been. You can burn fewer calories than you might have otherwise.
Yeah, it's more if you're going to stay for a few days.
Psychological comfort, and yeah, and you can keep building on this, right? So if you're here for a few days, you just keep building on it, right? And this doesn't have to be like, obviously, well, I don't know if I should spoil it, but we're not actually lost. But you know, just do this for fun.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge, right? Like you test yourself.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
You spend time outside. You learn a little bit about your equipment.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking at my pack of snare wire. It's 35 feet of wire. I can make 17 snares out of that.
Is that what you figured out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use about 2 feet or less to make a snare.
Yeah.
So you think about what a small investment that is. It takes like no weight in your pack.
Yeah.
And it's not just for snaring rabbits. You can repair gear with it. You can make clothesline out of it. Like it's got
hang a pot.
Yeah, hang a pot. So many uses. So, you know, that's what this is really about, is like testing yourself and testing your stuff. And
yeah, skills,
man. Skills.
They're not obsolete yet.
No. Yeah, it pretty much is too dark for my camera. Night shot mode. Ooh, spooky. Just before I kind of stopped running the camera, I was going to say that if we had been wet, all this wood pile would have been burnt by now. That's the size of fire or bigger that we would have needed to dry out ourselves and our clothes, right?
Yep.
But we weren't. And it felt like there was a big pile of wood here until we started to cut it and stack it up, and then it's like, oh, I don't know if that's going to be enough for the night.
It might not.
Which is why you always want to, before it gets too dark, you want to have a mental map of where your other firewood trees are nearby. And like I said, you're probably not going to sleep, so that can be what you do. Just keep cutting firewood all night.
Wood all night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's comfy enough.
I feel like it's still wet though. I don't know about yours, mine's wet. You can see it glistening.
I can see the moisture, yeah. I think the roof got dry though from the fire.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, like the bottom's kind of damp. It feels damp to me.
Yeah.
But I'm also wearing all cotton, so
yours seems drier than mine. Like mine seems wet on the top, but
yeah.
I'm not going to feel it through this.
No.
It's just going to be a little bit colder.
Yeah.
Than I would prefer.
Well, mine's got an airspace under it too, right? Which is pretty helpful because I'm insulated from the ground.
Is it comfortable though?
Yeah.
Like you don't feel the log?
I do. A little bit.
So then it can't be.
You just kind of find the sweet spot, and then you
don't move
all night,
and then you don't have like a blood clot there or anything.
Yeah. A bed sore. But you know, this isn't too bad. I feel like I got the right height on this. It doesn't really need to be any much bigger. It's awkward to get in and out of, but that's fine. And then I can just kind of pop up and throw wood in the fire. Go back to sleep. Maybe get myself a pillow.
How comfort's that?
Surprisingly comfortable. Like really surprisingly comfortable.
I feel like I gotta make more.
So I'm trying to make the most of my layers. My gloves, I kept them dry all day, and I'm wearing them now. I got my hood up. I got my undershirt tucked in. Trying not to get any breezes, any cold drafts on me. My roof it's adequate. It could have a little bit more roof on it, I guess, especially if it rained or snowed, but that's kind of where we're at. So that's what you can do if you want to spend the night out in a lean-to in the winter, or you're stuck and you have to. Couple of tips and tricks. Have we stayed out It was snowing and raining when we stayed in the bushcraft camp, right? Sleeping. Anyway, I'm sure there's a video out there of us doing that.
What's that?
We stayed in the bushcraft camp and it was snowing and raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made it.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is kind of similar, but smaller.
Probably wetter.
Oh, and we brought sleeping bags when we did it
Well, we
before.
had everything.
Yeah.
We had a proper tarp. We had a sleep.
Yeah.
We had a proper bed, proper mat.
Yeah, it wasn't anything like this. It was like
No.
a Princess Hotel.
No, this is only crap we found in the woods.
This is like torture in the dungeon.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not terrible.
I mean, you're gonna be bad with your wet stuff over there, but
yeah,
I feel like I'm gonna be all right.
yeah,
Like I feel warm. I feel good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Cool. Well,
Not gonna move very much.
we're gonna burn out our lights here, so we're just gonna relax-ish, keep the fire going, and probably stay awake most of the night. If I get cold, I'm just gonna walk around, cut more firewood, swing the axe a bit, run the saw.
Quietly.
Not very quietly, keep Chris awake. And that's that. So this wraps up. This is the first night of our adventure. And tomorrow, did you say it's supposed to snow 10, 15 centimeters?
25.
25?
Yeah, but it doesn't start till evening.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well,
and then it just keeps going. But the best part about it is I sounded American there. About it is that it snows in the evening, but then it stops by the next day.
oh,
So we're just
it's like an overnight snowstorm.
yeah.
Saturday night.
Get some more fire in there.
Yeah.
Dry this stuff out.
All right, I'm up to have a walk around and warm up a bit. It got chilly. That's for sure. And it's pretty warm by the fire right now because it's kind of a big fire, but it's also throwing a lot of sparks, which is a little bit hazardous. So I think the trick here is to keep a bit of a longer but lower fire going so that it's not burning lots of fresh wood at once. You just kind of keep relatively continuously adding firewood but keeping it at a smaller, more manageable fire. Anyway, and a good way to warm up is to do a little more firewood cutting in the dark and then do a little more resting. So that's where we're at. Survival shelter in the winter. Little crash camp here and some snaring and hunting. And we'll pick up again in the morning. Night.